I'm Pablo with Tandem Offroad, and these are 5 reasons why I always choose Toyota Lexus 4x4s. Real quick guys, before I actually get this video started, I wanted to go over our today's sponsor, which is actually us, tandemoffroad.com. We're constantly working to improve our website, and we offer a various of lift kits, brake kits, differential kits, and stuff like that. And if we don't have it, give us a ring. We'll more than likely help you get what you need. So again, that's enough of that, tandemoffroad.com, and let's go straight to the video. And the first point and the main point, the obvious one, the one that's the most obvious, is reliability. Toyotas are just renowned for the reliability. They're over-engineered, underpowered, and over-geared. That is just the name of the game when it comes to these vehicles, and that's why they can go for so many miles over and over and over and over and over again. Perfect example here is I got my little 82 Toyota pickup that I'm building to take off-roading over at Toyota Jamboree this year, and the engine I'm putting in is from a T100 with over 500,000 miles, and I'm not even opening up the engine because I know it's gonna be good. Toyota's engineering with engines is so particular, it's so interesting. They're not the most powerful, they're not the most gas efficient, but they are the most reliable when it comes down to this. Take the 4.7 liter V8, the 2UZFE, or the 1UZFE, no, the 2UZFE, both actually are really good. And they can go for 1,000,000 miles, and it has been proven over and over again on several different units. Just earlier this morning, we had an FJ Cruiser here with 450,000 miles, and all I needed was wheel bearings and brakes. I mean, to be fair, she has been very good at keeping on top of her stuff, but even then, it's still 450,000 miles on the original drivetrain. Not a lot of vehicles can say that. There's also a lot of things that are well engineered. For example, the power steering systems in the 1FZ on the 80 series Land Cruiser is gear driven. So in case you actually lose a drive belt or anything like that, you still have power steering to get you through a trail. It's just little details like that that you don't really, you don't think about until you actually are in it and you're seeing it for the, this is already awkward. Let's move to the next point. Even though their independent front end suspensions can seem a little limited to a lot of people out there, Tony, they are actually very comfortable out on the street every day, but still can get everything you need done out in the trail. And even their solid axle front ends, like in the 80 series, are still a lot more comfortable than some other vehicles that I have driven in my past years in the industry. I had to move here because he's blocking me. Now, you can take this as far as you want to throw it, but I one time heard or read a long time ago that when the Toyota engineers were designing a lot of the stuff for the Tacoma and the 4Runner, they were saying that they could make the vehicles a lot more affordable and easier to get into if they didn't have to focus too much on their off-road capabilities, such as like A-Track, lockers and stuff like that. But also at the same time, they also knew that at least 95% of their customers that bought the vehicles didn't really use them for off-roading. So they could have easily cut a lot of those corners and made the vehicle more approachable, but they didn't want to leave that 5% of customers that actually do wheel and use their vehicles stuck out in the trail. So that's actually pretty cool.
So I like the example of Australia with how much the Aussies love their Toyotas, because if you break down in the middle of nowhere out there, something's probably going to eat you.
Point 3 is their aftermarket support. I'm gonna try not to get in your way while you work. Okay. Point 3 is their aftermarket support. There's a lot of aftermarket parts that you can purchase for a lot of these vehicles, and it's a constant growing industry as people are more, there's more people every day innovating and trying to come up with new toys, I guess, for you to spend your money on, your hard-earned money.
Hold my nuts.
I'll hold your nuts. Your hard-earned money on your 4x4 rig. Especially now these days with suspension technology, you can get some pretty gnarly suspension for a pretty decent penny, but also you can get a lot of entry-level lift kits that...
Thanks for holding my nuts.
You're welcome. You can get a lot of good entry-level lift kits for a pretty decent price as well, and you can still go out and have a lot of fun. The aftermarket support on these vehicles is actually pretty insane, from crazy drawer systems in the back to solar panels, roof rack, rooftop tents, suspensions pieces, crazy long travel suspension to solid axle swaps. I mean, there's just almost anything you can do to these things as long as your pocketbook is deep enough. And trust me, it's a rabbit hole that you will dive into as soon as you hop into one of these things. There's also cool companies like TandemOffroad.com. Shameless plugin. Yeah, I did that. Tony's idea, actually. I guess the point number 4 is their timeless design. I mean, you can look at stuff like the 80 series Land Cruiser or the GX 460, and they have this look to them. That's a very unique, kind of a rugged off-road look, and that's the kind of stuff that I really dig, and especially like the older models like the FJ60, 62, FJ40s. We're not gonna talk about the 55s though. Those are kind of ugly. Even stuff like the LX 570, which is supposed to be a luxurious SUV, still throw some mud terrain tires on it, small lift, and this thing looks like it's ready to party. Though I will admit, when I first started getting into this hobby, this whole thing 10 years ago, I always thought that the newer Toyotas kind of looked like toys, but in reality, I've actually kind of grown into them, and now I'm just kind of always trained to look out for a 4Runner that's lifted wheels, roof rack, or something on the street. They stand out perfectly, and I have a fuzzy feeling about it. It's all I got. It's all I have. It makes me all warm and fuzzy inside. And then the last kind of item on our list is actually what I feel to be the most important one, is the community. The community in the Toyota and Lexus 4x4 world is absolutely outstanding. It's very close-knit. I haven't gone to a 4x4 event that's involved Toyota and Lexus where I haven't left with new friends and new contacts on my phone. It's always a good time. And the fact that even though I have some other Toyota 4x4 shops that I've hung out with, we've always been in close communication and shared battle stories or information. It is insane how close this community is. But what's even crazier is that they actually split into miniature communities among the actual sub models. So like you'll see the older Toyota guys, they kind of stick in their own group, and then the 4Runner guys, you know, they're in their own world. Tacoma guys are in Tacoma world, and Michael's making fun of all my hand gestures over there. I'm watching you. It is hard to be out on the trail with a Toyota and not make another Toyota friend. They're just some of the friendliest people out on the trails. I've always had really good experience. Obviously, there's gonna be a bad egg here and there, but they're very rare in comparison to everybody else. There we go. Those are my 5 reasons why I'll always choose Toyota Lexus 4x4s. Why don't you comment down below why is one of the biggest reasons why you like to choose Toyota and Lexus 4x4s, and comment it down below. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't, and let me know what you guys think of this video. If you guys want me to do more stuff like this, I'd love to know, because these are easy. I can pump these out pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna go now. Bye-bye.